Chapter 12. Discover. In a small villa just northwest of the adorned mountain range on Tureiss, Quartus sat in his living area, engrossed in reading an environmental survey conducted on the citizens of his home planet. Quartus was a tall man, standing at approximately 6 feet 9 inches with long, wiry hair that reached midway between his shoulder blades. He donned a long robe in shades of blue and black, adorned with a colorful array of small Tureissian beads around his neck. As Quartus perused his documents, he found himself contemplating the concept of fatherhood. Despite studying the concept through historical archives, he struggled to fathom why anyone would willingly undergo the process. While sipping his cold nut root juice, he couldn't help but conclude that creating life forms through the integration of complex humanoid programs into biological shells was more efficient and manageable. Nevertheless, an elusive sense of incompleteness lingered within him. Just as he completed his thought, a message alerted him through his cerebral cortex that Meleva was on her way. Quartus tidied up his workspace and poured a second cup of nut root juice, readying the area for his guest. Sending a telepathic signal to Meleva, he granted her permission to enter and welcomed her with a warm smile.
Good to see you again. I assume everything went well?
Quartus inquired.
Absolutely. Did you doubt it?
Meleva responded with a smile.
Would it be all right if we converse verbally today, rather than telepathically?
Quartus requested.
Of course.
Meleva answered using words.
You still prefer the old-fashioned method of reviewing business, I see.
She commented, referring to the electronic displays showcasing survey data.
You know me. I like to keep all my skills sharp.
Meleva laughed.
Indeed you do. So you were rather reserved during our last meeting.
I felt it best to withhold my opinions for now.
Your decision to propose an open vote regarding the fate of EC6L163O7074 was a wise move. It exposed those who were uncertain about their beliefs.
That was my intention, though I was surprised by Zakai and Kiria's votes. I was confident we had enough support to salvage EC6L163O7074's program, but I never expected them to vote for termination. I assumed Zakai and Kiria would at least abstain.
Their choices didn't shock me. Zakai seems to be more cautious lately and Kiria remains an enigma. Her views are quite erratic.
Meleva remarked, mimicking the swaying of her head.
Besides us, who else participated in sending him back?
Quartus inquired.
You're getting straight to the point. As of now, it's Abner and Shifra.
Do you think we can persuade the others to join?
By the others, I assume you're excluding O'Shea, Uzziah, Corinth, and Melchior.
You're correct, and I'm not holding out hope for Corinth, although she does tend to surprise.
Then yes, I believe the rest will remain committed, except for Zakai. He's the unpredictable one.
I'm well aware,
Quartus replied.
Who conducted the download? Anyone familiar?
I don't believe so. His name is Telmar. He's relatively new to our cause, but he's highly skilled and devoted.
How long has he been active?
About 20 Earth years.
I see.
Quartus rose and walked to a dome-shaped window, overlooking a small pond surrounded by overgrown vegetation. As Meleva reached for her nut root juice, she suddenly found herself inundated with Quartus's thoughts. She realized that he was communicating telepathically, sharing his insights with her.
We cannot afford to fail. Our planet bears responsibility for countless humanoid life forms. We've played the role of creators for so long that we've come to believe we're akin to gods. Increasing numbers of our citizens are starting to question the afterlife, some even resorting to taking their own lives out of curiosity or boredom. We envy the religious diversity on the planets we've seeded, admiring their ability to reproduce with one another. We need to recalibrate our path and offer our society the choice to integrate with the worlds we've cultivated and grown fond of. Some council members will vehemently oppose us and call for our expulsion. That's why we must succeed before our commission's term expires in the next 2 decades. The subsequent council will be more orthodox in their thinking and will adopt the god and goddess titles from the next harvested planet Leto. As tradition dictates, they'll incorporate Leto's values into their decisions for Tureiss' betterment, just as we've done with Earth.
I understand the gravity of your words, but how can we convince our society of the truth?
Meleva questioned.
The truth? Do you truly understand what it is?
Quartus asked.
I believe I do.
No, you don't. Allow me to show you.
As Quartus moved away from the window, Meleva pondered why he had posed a question if he already knew the answer. Deciding not to press for an explanation, she waited for Quartus to continue. He retrieved a small wooden chest, extracted a white oval-shaped stone with a black base ring, and placed it on the table. The oval stone bore 3 wavy lines, yellow, blue, and green, carved onto its surface, surrounding a central orange star. Realizing that this was the Stone of Tureis, Meleva respectfully lowered her head, acknowledging its significance. Quartus handed her the stone, initiating a transfer of knowledge about their planet's history. As she delved into the deceit and cowardice of their past leaders millions of years ago, the yellow line illuminated. When she absorbed the stability and dependability those choices had brought, the blue line glowed. Finally, as she grasped the knowledge of rejuvenation for their physical and mental well-being, the green line radiated. After the influx of information ceased, she placed the stone back on the table and gazed at Quartus.
I don't know whether to despise our forebears or revere them. I was unaware, and that ignorance shames me.
I felt the same way when I held the stone,
replied Quartus.
The orange star did not light up. Why?
Asked Meleva.
The star represents the knowledge we seek, how to create life from within ourselves, how to give birth to a humanoid child.
Have you learned of this knowledge?
No, I wish I had. That is what we need to find out,
said Quartus.
How do we go about doing that?
I do not know for certain,
Quartus replied as he placed the stone back into the wooden cabinet.
Who else knows you have this stone?
You and the person who gave it to me.
Why has not every council member and citizen taken hold of the stone? They could then learn the truth,
asked Meleva curiously.
There are council members and citizens on this planet who would destroy the stone the first chance they had. If we dare speak the truth, we could easily widen the fracture of our already divided population, causing a civil war that could destroy us all,
explained Quartus.
We cannot hide the truth. We need to do something,
pleaded Meleva.
I agree, but what that something is, I do not know. I need you to promise me that you will not speak of this to anyone. In return, I promise you, we will be acting on this as quickly as possible. We first need to take care of a few other matters and identify the council members we can trust.
I promise.
Thank you, Meleva. Now please show yourself out. I need to revert to my studies.
Meleva left Quartus's residence, bursting with more questions that would have to wait. As Meleva situated herself on a nearby platform, she glanced back at the rundown quarters Quartus had chosen to reside in and streamed to her next destination, the Ark.